as you already know our idea, I'll just go fast through what our idea is. So our idea is to do OE management, OE log management analytics. So what we are doing is we are aggregating different logs from different servers of OE, and we are trying to get analytics by enhancing the log data. So what we are doing is we took two VM machines having OE servers, and then we are pumping data into my present machine, which is the having the ELK stack in it. So by this we try to achieve all the analytics, email alerts, as well as search functionality, which will help in doing analytics. So let's go to the part where we can see how the pumping is done. So as you can see, the top beat, just observe the count. As I press enter, the count is increasing to different numbers. This is because the data is being continuously popped. So you can see that that the number of entries have been changing. So based on how we use file beat and top beat to pump this data and then show analytics based on the data we get. So let us get into the logs, the analytics. So this is a sample we took from the Apache logs of OE, and as you can see, there were 270,129 entries. So we passed the data to give more information about OE specific things like what are the OE resources being called. We can see that the OE manager is the most, which is making the most number of calls. And also we can see that what are the number of response calls and the counts of them, like 200 is this many, 401 so many. We can also see a time versus the count, like what is the traffic. At particular time the traffic is peaking. We can see all this data by obtaining the data. Now the real power of analytics when we combine all this. Say I press 401. So when I press 401, it immediately changes to 366. There are 366 401 errors, and the best thing is we can know which resources are throwing the 401. As you can see, the OE services service is actually throwing the most number of 401s. Also you can see with time, at particular time there was a peak in the number of 401 messages, indicating that there was something wrong at that time. So this will give a good insight into what is wrong with the present application, or other insights to the developers. Also how do we remove this thing? Ah. As you can see, now we have the admin server dashboard. There is also an admin server which has different insights into what are the things we can uh, give information about. So we passed it to give some data about the components which are involved. So if you see the admin server, uh, the most of the entries are related to the admin server. So when I click admin server, the data changes to give what are the actions of the admin server. So this will give insights into which part mostly the admin server is performing, which is the plugin installed, which what was the present action. So similarly, these are related to helping the uh, developers as well as customers and all. But we can also get a deep insight into the server health, which will help the DevOps perform much better. As you can see, this graph has the CPU usage and against time, which will give when the CPU usage has been spiked. Also, you can see the top processes which can be seen here, which are being executed on the computer on the VM machine. So you can also see the CPU usage, memory usage per process, all this stuff plotted against time. And at the last, you can see that this is the present, actually the VM machine that we are using in order to get all the statistics from. So once we see this, we can also go into the email alerts which we are configuring. Before I search functionality, how better it can be. Now you need not search through the whole log file. You can get a combined log of all the distributed files, and you can just search for a particular keyword like 200. If 200 is done, it gives a complete records from which you can see the JSON to see what all are the things, like what is the source, what are the response, all this stuff you can see just by searching for it. This is one more functionality the ELK stack is providing. And finally, the email alerts. So if we see a simple query like if you find this, please log a message, log a alert saying this message will give us uh, a mail when the particular event is happening at the log. So this is the final. We covered all the things like alerts, analytics, as well as search and log management by doing all these features. Thanks. F12